Welcome back, Nuggets. How is everyone tonight? Welcome in, welcome in. Let me check real quick if the stream seems to be going. I think it is. Yes. Welcome, everyone. I hope the audio is correct as well. Welcome to a new dev stream. Well, the audio. As you can hear, my voice is a little bit cracked up. Feeling a little under the weather, but that doesn't stop me working on the game. So let us work on the game. And as you've all read by the title, we are remaking the first boss. I know. Actually, in the last devlog, I said, let's not remake the first boss until we finish the game, shall we? And what do? So let me fill you guys in on what happened. So, in the past few weeks, and as you've probably, most likely if you're watching the live stream, watched the devlog, as I've discussed in the devlog, I, have been reconsidering some things about the game, about how the game has been made, about what we're, how we're doing things. And that included like reworking some systems, introducing some new systems, some new mechanics. And one thing, as I said in the devlog, that has really been bugging me is CRT, the first boss. I don't particularly like his design. I don't particularly like the way he's introduced. And there are a couple of things that become a problem when you're trying to do it like we've been doing it in the game. So, let me run you guys through what we have right now. So we'll go to this one. Perhaps I should do like a full view. Let's do that. That would be nice. Perhaps we'll try that for this devlog. I think we can do that. Although, usually I have this game screen on my third monitor. I actually have 3 monitors here. So it's always full screen and I never have to switch back and forth, but because sometimes you want to look in the hierarchy or in the inspector and you can't, but whatever. Alright, so we'll skip the first dialogue. Let me move my mouse out of the way. Alright, we have these cool new animations that we've been working on. Alright, so here is CRT, and here comes my first gripe. I'm not very keen on his design and the way he looks. And so he has this introduction. He's the stop. So basically sort of the idea was that he was turned off by some other human, perhaps during the Great War that goes on in the story. And Carly accidentally resets him, and they have sort of this discussion about Carly looking for parts. And so he says something like, thanks for resetting me, and he goes away so you can face him again later. And here comes my first point. So I'm also not really fond of these drop crates, but alright, granted that. So the fact that CRT is the reason why the moving lasers, which are these things, are here in the first place, actually complicates things a bit, because I was building another level and I was like, oh wait, but since CRT is sort of dead because it's like the second level or the third level, does that mean that I can't use moving lasers? Because he was sort of the reason that the moving lasers were here in the first place, and he dropped in like these crates with these satellite dishes. So would it then be that when he now called all the satellite dishes down with the drop crates that he called them down throughout the entire world? Or are these just here placed by the AI to protect like the areas from humans? Which I actually think, in looking back at it, makes a lot more sense. So that was my first thing. Like, okay, so he drops like the satellite dishes. All right. Could be. Then my second thing so the fact that he has like this intro about him like needing to be reset, and it just didn't feel right. Plus, again, like I said, I changed my enemies already once, right? If you guys know from way back, the enemies used to look completely different. They got completely overhauled, and I'm actually really happy with them right now. Not to say that I might not change some things about them, but for now I think it's fine. Let me, yeah. So now it's actually, see, now I have a problem that I cannot. I would like to go back right now, right? Like just to go to focused. Oh, I can actually double click it. Wow. Wow. Well, now you know. You can double click the bar and it grows. Alright. Alright, let's go to like the end of the boss fight. Excuse me, guys. Like I said, I'm a bit under the weather, so I will be coughing, snorting, and all those things, but, you know, whatever. Alright, so now the boss fight. So, before the previous devlog, the boss fight used to be, like, sort of meh. Then I added these 2 new phases. So let's just run through the boss fight. It's like, you again. How? And it's also the fact that he's here again, sort of just waiting around. Like, where was he during the rest of the level? Alright, so it starts. I do still like the idea that he calls in, like, the moving lasers. But then again, the moving lasers could just be here. Ah! Let's not die. Let's try not to die. Let's see at least one. So now he falls down, right? So that is, I guess, okay. He needs to have like... Alright, so now he goes to do his move thing. Woo! Which I think for an added phase was actually pretty okay. And now he does his like circle spamming thing. Oh, I moved my mouse, shouldn't have done. And so this is like, alright, it's like not super exciting, I guess. And now it all starts over again. And I'm like, okay. I'm just not... For like a first boss fight. Like I said in the devlog, is he cool enough for a first boss fight? I'm not sure. So I have some ideas. I was actually making a new level a while back, which is the second Sunken City level, which is the Falls level. And so the idea behind that was actually that I wanted to be all about height, right? So, I died. It's embarrassing. The idea was that I wanted to be all about height and about falling and being up in the air and being down below. And I don't know if you guys saw that I prototyped a glider a while back. Did that like a couple of weeks ago. So I was really playing around with the idea of that level like being really on top of high buildings and in the air. And so a flying boss would actually make a lot of sense in that level, right? Because it's like all up in the air. And this first Sunken City level is actually way more like connected to water and like swimming and like being in the water. And so I was sort of thinking about making a octopus submarine like boss for the first level. And instead of like having a whole intro cutscene and having all those things, just the level being like clear of much story. A couple of reasons for that, right? No, well, not clear of much story, but like cutscenes, right? So the first reason for that is the way that I did the cutscenes is kind of messy, but that is fine. But since I'm planning on making a lot more levels, I would also have to make a lot more cutscenes for all the bosses, and I want to keep production down actually a little bit. So, oh, should I save this? I don't think I changed anything. All right. So my idea was to introduce the boss in a different way, more like an environmental hazard, and that's what I really want to start off with today. So if we have like this new level, it's still the same level. It starts the same. Oh, like enlarging it. It's still the same. Only right now, when you move up here on top of the building, there's nothing here. And the moving lasers are actually already active because they are just a environmental hazard. Now, my idea is, like I said, to make sort of a octopus-like creature with long tentacles and arms. And I will show you guys in like, after we made this first environmental hazard thing, I will show you guys what I have already because I made a small start on it, and we'll figure more of that out, right? But so my idea was, again, to have environmental hazards. So what I want to do is when you walk up here or someplace else, you sort of get a, well, not really a timed event or a quick time event, but Carly, like, she reacts. She gets like, oh, something's gonna happen, and then you have some time, some reaction time to dodge out of the way or jump, and then something happens. So I can reuse that, right? So you could imagine that, say you're walking. Let me turn this off so you don't have any music. I'm not really sure how loud the music is for you guys, but I think it should be fine. Let's say you're walking past a tower of blocks, right? And at some point, I want to have those blocks fall over and hit you because they sort of are an environmental hazard. That is just something that happens, but you don't see it coming. So what I imagine doing is like making a trigger, and as soon as you hit that trigger, Carly does like a scared animation, a triangle pops up with like an exclamation mark, and it's like, huh? And then you have a couple of seconds, and then something happens. So in that case, the tower of blocks would slam down and would hurt you if you didn't dodge out of the way. And so I want to do something similar in the level, like on this location, and perhaps even in this location, and sorry guys, and perhaps even here, or I thought about replacing this zap tower, and just like in a couple of locations have a area just like that, and then when you get into that area, Carly scares, get the exclamation mark triangle, and then after a while it's like a big arm slams down. Welcome everybody. A concept for the boss. You can notify me. Ooh, well, you guys seen the thumbnail art, the great art that I did. All right, let's get cracking. That's yeah. All right. So we're not. I think we're not gonna test it in this level. That's not. Ooh, there it is already. The boss fight octopus. But also not gonna test it in that level because I want to save that for a little bit later in the stream. So we'll take the gauntlet, which is also sort of a testing area. The wooden crate can go. The cube. All right. So what we want to do is we want to create a area that can trigger a event. I think a simple Unity event might do. Then we can do like anything. So yeah. So we'll first make like an area which freezes you, put up the exclamation mark, and then fires an event and has a timer, I guess. We'll call it. How did I call it earlier? Area? Effect area? No. Trigger area. I call it an environmental hazard. Environmental. I don't know how to write that. I'm very dyslexic. Even in Dutch. And environmental. Oh, I think I was going to type it right. But in English, it's even worse. Environmental. Yeah, but I didn't want to call it a hazard because it's just a trigger area, right? So let's just call it a hazard trigger area. All right, and we need to set up a couple of things for that. So first we need like a collider area. No, I actually want to put that on this thing itself. So I want to have a box collider, because if I have a box collider, let's move this thing to 0, 0, then I can trigger stuff. I hope everyone's week, for as long as it's been going, has been going great. It's only Tuesday, you know, but doesn't really matter. All right, let's move this one up. So we now have a trigger area. I actually start over there, so let's move the spawn point back a bit. All right, we'll make some code for this. We'll make this in environment. Yeah, why not? So we'll make a new script. We'll also call it hazard trigger area. Right, let's open up some code. How is the size of this? I'm actually not sure if I can enlarge this. All right, so what we want to trigger the area. First, we want to use Unity events. So we'll use events. We'll make a serialize field. Oops. No, let's make it public. You never know if we need to subscribe to it in like a different class. Unity event, and we'll call it action trigger. I also want to have, so what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna add another state to Carly's state machine in which she is like alarmed, triggered, no, something like alarmed. I think we'll call it alarmed, for like a number of seconds. Does she need to have? No, there needs to be a number of seconds between she being alarmed and the event being raised. That's what we need. So we actually need that right here. So we'll need a private float. We'll call that action timer. And we'll set that default to 1 second. And I actually want to make this adjustable in some settings. So I've been watching. Hey, Asmist, welcome everyone. So I've also been rethinking like the difficulty system, and I now have like an easy, medium, hard, something like that. But perhaps I just want to make it more like how do you call it? Accessibility features, right? So make it more like. So do you want to have like a long action timer or a small action timer? So I'm actually going to add to this, or later on add to this like a variable which you can set yourself. Like, so if you're like not as fast or something like that, and you want to have like those action timers way slower, then you can do that. But let's set that to 1 second right now. What more do we need? So we have a area on this thing. All right, so we'll add like a on trigger enter. I actually have the VS Code Unity plugin installed, which like does these things. That is like seriously fine. I wish I could like tell it that I would like my bracket on the different, on the like the next line instead of behind it, but whatever. On trigger enter. All right. So we'll check if the tag is a player. Because for now, I only want Carly to trigger these events because they're things that happen to Carly. If so, then we are going to start a coroutine, which I'm calling trigger timer. Yes. trigger timer. I'm gonna give it a yield. New. Wait for seconds. Action timer, and here I actually wanna. I could make it and not do anything with it. So in like the player options, which has all the options of the game, like also the difficulty. Sorry guys. I could add a public float action time adjustment. I will now make that 0. But like just to show you guys how I intend on doing this, dot action time adjustment. Like this, right? So now I can just edit that value in the player options and I can add extra time to the timer. All right, so trigger timer, if it start, all right, so we also want to check like, have a private boolean called triggered. Wow, my triggered. Wow, what am I doing? So my voice is also really weird right now. So I wanted to do a really high-pitched triggered, but I couldn't. So we could actually say, if you are triggered, you can just return. So this way, trigger is true. Trigger equals false. So now what happens is it can be triggered only once, because triggered will be set to true. And that is, I guess, something that I want. Because say we go back to the example of Carly stepping into like a hazard trigger area and a stack of boxes would fall on top of her head, then that stack of boxes has fallen and I don't want that to happen again. If I ever come up with something that I need to do that again, I can just simply add it to make it like reusable. But for now, I don't really see why I would want that. All right. I think this actually works. So what we could do... Oh, wait. We, of course, have to like invoke the action trigger. Action trigger dot invoke. So this is like the event. Let's call it action trigger event because that's a little bit more clear. Action trigger event, yes. So that's being invoked right here. I could like do a debug log, but let's not bother with that. All right, let's see if this works. And so if this works, then what we'll do is we'll add another state to Carly. I think we can add some files. Oh, yeah, that would be pretty cool to edit some files to have it. All right, action timer on the 1. Let's for now say when we enter this trigger, just simply hide this cube. Yes, all right. So let's see what happens. So I should now be like outside of the action. And now I step. Now I'm floating on top of the trigger area. So that is something I so many times forget to put this on trigger that whenever I do, I always in my classes make a start function which gets the collider and just sets the trigger on true so that whenever I forget, it doesn't really matter. Welcome to the stream, everyone. And usually when you do something like this, you actually want to use the required component bracket, but I always forget what the syntax is for that. Let's do it neatly today, all right? Let's Unity required component. Because it has like these weird Wait, what's my mouse doing? required component. Can I just go there? Thank you. So here we have like the syntax. Yes, this is what we need. So the required component bracket or syntax, for those that do not know, whenever you add this component to a game object, it will automatically add also this component. So I actually need to call this one the box collider. And whenever you want to remove this component from a game object that has this component on it or script on it, then Unity will say, that's not allowed because this script needs that component. So in this case, because we get a collider, I can then also call this like a box collider. That then doesn't really matter. Right, so now it is a required component, and you will see that at this point, after it's done compiling, come on Unity, yeah, so if I try to remove this component, then Unity will give a error saying can't remove because hazard trigger area script depends on it, which is actually what is happening because it depends on it, right? So what we should see is if we walk in here after 1 second, the block should disappear. Oh yeah, I'm doing the aggressive typing ASMR again. So my keyboard, it's a mechanical keyboard. It's really nice, but it makes a lot of noise. You guys just have to get used to it. All right, so it actually worked, right? So the event triggered. That is cool. Now. Let's dive into the still humongous mess that is the Carly state machine. So we're actually going to add a new state, because what I want happening is as soon as Carly walks into a hazard trigger area, she does an animation like and a triangle or exclamation mark appears above her head, and she stops walking. Like, you have to give new input, and you have to like renew your input. No, you have to let go of the stick and do something, jump, dash, whatever. So adding just a new state for that is much, much easier. So we'll do that. No Unity. I do not want to add a new behavior script. All right. Now, player state, we'll call it alarmed. Alarmed. I think that's spelled correctly. All right. Now, for those who have never watched my earlier devlogs or didn't catch it on one of the previous live streams, I actually followed a iHeart game dev tutorial for this, and I'm using his state machine for characters. Right, so I have a base state here. If I just copy this in and call this one player state alarmed. Yes. And also call, not using Unity Engine twice, of course. Yeah. So this should be fine. Yes. All right. So now it is a player state. So it's like a base state, so it can be called. Then I added his factory. So we'll add a new state. Alarmed. And this is just a lot of copying. But what this state machine does is it does make it really easy to do stuff like this. Sorry, guys. Alarmed. All right. So we just have to add a couple of things. Alarmed, return straight. Alarmed. And so now we should have a state alarmed. So when we enter the state, let's just debug log. Let's alarm. Let's debug that. Yes. And so how do we transition to this state? We could. So that's always like what you need to think about, right? So what happens when you jump into an area like this? Do you go just first fall to the floor, or do you right away snap to the ground, or yeah? So that's the thing, right? What happens when you jump into an area like this? It's like you fall down. That is a thing I need to think about. Let's first just like the interaction state, let's just have it be a hard transition. So what I'll do then in my humongous player controller, have a function. Let's do that right here. Public void alarm player, and we'll have this one switch to the alarmed state. And I haven't done this in a long time, so let's do some copying. So we'll exit the current state and we'll enter the alarmed state. And now when we have a hazard trigger, instead of just invoking the action trigger, I can also, as soon as we enter it, so before we do anything else, alarm the player. And we do that by player state machine get her instance alarm player. So now what should happen is we should actually see a console log that says Let's see if that is true. And now she's just walking and I cannot control her. She doesn't even fall anymore because gravity has no more use here. So that's actually what's gonna happen when I jump in. She's just gonna fly off, just like that, and fall forever. Right, so let's fix that. Do I sort of have a animation that I can play? No. Alright, so this is going to look a lot, I guess, like the interacting state. So what I'll do right here, I'll just set her to idle and require a new... I could also use like the deactive state. That sort of does the same. So as soon as we enter, so what we do now is we set like the animation to idling. Remind me again, guys, what is a finite state machine again? It implies that it has a finite number of states, but what's the difference between a regular state machine? So I do not have an animator for handling the states. And yes, everything for the player is handled by the state machine. It's just code. I do not have an animator for the state machine. It's only code. Yes. So in the deactive state, I do want to have a gravity or deactive. In the alarmed state because she should fall. So at this point I think we have, so yeah, so I could use like a animator, but now I do it all with code. So in each state I have a number of switch states which it can switch to given certain circumstances. It's probably not the best system. Neozoid says a finite state machine using different script for each state. So, yeah, but I do, because look, I have a different script for each state. And so we're now making a alarmed state, which is a separate script. So perhaps then it is a finite state machine. Yes, she can only have one state at a time. So now, as you can see, or, well, you can't, so I should keep up my controller. So if I walk into the zone right now, she stops moving and I cannot do anything else because we are in the alarmed state. And in the alarmed state, we cannot do anything else. So now I'm actually wondering what happens if I jump into it. She just falls to the ground, which I guess is fine. Fine for now. Okay. Ching. So I would love for her to have like a pose. I don't have an animation for that right now, so let's not do that. What I do want to do is, well, we of course want to play like a sound effect, right? And I want to show like the triangle, but I also want to give back like the player control after X amount of seconds, right? That's what I want to do. So what I'll have to do is make a private. Wow. As always, I cannot type the word private. I.e. numerator. We'll call it alarmed timer. And we'll do a return new word for seconds. And we'll put it at like half a second. Then we'll transition back into like the idle state in which you can do anything you like. So we'll call this one timer done equals true. We'll have to add this as a boolean equals false. And as soon as you enter the state, let's not print again. I also want to have that one, and then it checks the switch states, and so we'll say if timer done. Then you can actually switch states to wait. I forget what the word is. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here. Oh, it's underscore factory. I should have known underscore factory dot idle. So then after the timer is done, you switch back to idle. Why doesn't factory work? What is wrong with that? It is, of course, a function. So it should have here the timer is set to true after half a second. So then we can do things again. So that is fine. All right. Now, let's test it bit by bit. And so my idea, to reiterate about what I was doing earlier, my idea about making this new boss is not to have it as finished as CRT was. And now we should be in the... Oh, wait. If we don't start the timer, nothing will ever happen. So, actually, CTX, which is the, as iHeartGameDev calls it, the context, which is like the player state machine, is a mono behavior, so it actually needs to start a coroutine, which you can do. And it needs to start the, wow, alarmed timer. Yes. Now, it should be all good. So for 1 second we'll do like, I'll make a pose. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? And now we are back. And we don't trigger again. All right. Cool. Let's make a. So for like the parts boxes that I use, parts box, I have like this triangle on top of it, like this one. I want to also use this triangle. Oh wow, it's really small, I guess. I also want to use this triangle like above Carly's head because I think that would be pretty cool. And for that, we are going to use the new Carly's VFX Manager, which we made in a previous stream. I think it's called exclamation. Morning exclamation. Yes, that is it. All right. We'll make an exclamation mark. Let's see where it's at. Let's put it above Carly's head. Let's make it bigger. The bigger, the better. Let's put it right here. Let's turn it off. Carly VFX. Let's make a. Let's just make it a game object. We'll call it exclamation mark. It's one word, right? Okay. Then, in the player state alarmed, we can say, no, let's call it Carly. Wow, you guys, perhaps you saw it right here. No, it's at the other side. All right, so I have some, wow, my heart is racing, and everyone's like, what the hell happened, Lex? A picture just came down and it sort of fell towards me, and so I was like, it's here on the ground. I cannot show it because it has my kid's face on it, and we don't show our kids on social media. Wow. All right, that startled me much more than it should have. That is also the reason I don't play horror games. So if you guys ever convince me to do like a live horror game, that's gonna be amazing. All right. What was I doing? Exclamation mark. Dot set active to true. Wow. All right, it's just a picture, Lex. Nothing is happening. And as soon as you exit the state, we can set it on false again. Wow. Great bravery here on stream. Okay. Should put this one in here. Now, as soon as we enter, oof, like half a second to react. No, because it's like 1 second. So perhaps what we should do, should we make like the timer for, no, because you want to react longer than half a second, I guess. Because like the hazard area is like 1 second. So you get like warned for half a second. Like that, wow, standard sound effect. Like when you get like, ah, something's happening. All right, let's go for it. Let's make a, we'll go bam 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 tonight. We'll go fast. Prototyping stuff. Post mode. We'll make a new which one looks sort of like, could also do like a T-pose. All right, we'll copy the T-pose. We're at animation 22 already. Wow. 22. We'll call this Carly alarmed pose. And we'll protect it. So we'll make a cool pose out of this. Let's move her down a bit. Let's have her go like, ah, so she's turned a bit. Let's turn her the other side for once. Right, let's do like this. Perhaps this. Wait, which way did I turn her? Oh, turn her this way. Well, not that way. This way. Her. Alright. I think we would have to rotate the hips back. The hips a bit back. Then her skirt needs to go. She's like, ah. Oh, actually, kind of like her arms like this. What I could try and do is like move her shoulders up a bit so that she's like a bit. Well, perhaps not at her elbows, but at her. Ooh. This is actually not a bad pose. Perhaps this one a bit forward. Why not? Let's give it a go. So let's select all of this. Export this. Here, player model. Yes. Using my preset, as usual. Wait for Blender to start becoming responsive again. Now it should be in. No, there's State Machine. We're looking at Carly. It's not that one. Why do I always pick up the wrong one? Alright, so we want to add 22, the alarmed pose. It should actually loop because it's just a pose. How's her skirt looking? So in the charge animation we made, her skirt was broken. And it actually seems to be fixed right now. That is weird. I don't know if any of you guys were here during the previous stream, but like Carly's skirt was broken because it didn't transform right because I scaled it. Now I exported it again and it works, but whatever. If it works, it works. All right, for Carly, we will add another state. I'll call this alarmed. We'll add the alarmed pose. We'll say, I'll make a transition. I'll make a trigger. Alarmed. Set the alarmed trigger to the being alarmed. And then it doesn't need a fixed duration. Ooh, she scales down way small. Why is that? That is weird. Do other animations do that as well? I saw that in my charging as well. Does her head? Sorry guys. Wow, but in her alarmed state, she actually shrinks. You guys see that? Oh, no, she doesn't. Sorry guys. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather and all this talking. And now I'm also out of water. Oh no. No, she doesn't shrink anymore. I am going crazy. Whatever, if it works, it works. I wanted to go pretty. Wait, now she's scaling down again. Why is that? Why is that? Now she's scaling down. And now she isn't. What's going on here, Unity? What's going on here? Whatever. Alright, so let's go back into here. Now let's say not set the boolean idle, but set a trigger. So we'll do set trigger alarmed. Oh, not with a 0 there, but actually like this. And so now what should happen is she should do the alarm pose. I hope. Cha. She does actually scale, doesn't she? Like in this one, she's also scaled. Let's check that out in the Blender. Like what is happening here? So that should be her root bone then. Edit the pose. So we'll Alt G, Alt scale, no, Alt scale, Alt scale. There is no scale on here. But that first pose, which one is that? It's attack 3. Ah, she is actually scaled in here. So that is correct. But like on the... Wait, where's the alarmed? Alarmed pose, she is not scaled at all. Not whatsoever. She does move down though. Does that happen? Let's see if we can pause it right here. Let's check it out in the scene. Let's find Carly. Does that look scaled to you? Does that look scaled to me? That actually looks scaled. Ah, you can't do that. Does this look scaled? Now I'm in doubt. Let me know, chat. Does that look scaled? Let's see it side by side, so we can sort of see what happens. Oh wait, hell yes, she scales. Why though? Why, Blender? Why? Simply why? No, I want to add a keyframe I. Add a keyframe to everything. Alright. Perhaps it has something to do with the transition. That might be the problem. But let's first, just to be sure, export this whole thing again. Alright. Wait for Blender to become responsive again. Now, in Unity, just check real quick if this fixed the problem. If not, no, she definitely scales. That is so weird. So let's, no transition at all, please. See, it even does so here. Why? You don't have to transition into yourself. Oh. This is so weird. I honestly don't get it. Why does she scale down? If you guys know what's going on, let me know. Perhaps it is something like just me having to restart the whole thing again. Because if I click a different node, now it doesn't scale. That is really weird. Let me see if it has some import setting stuff. So the alarmed pose actually also looks scaled right here. Like, see? That is super weird. That really is super weird. Why? I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Nevertheless, boom, it is working. Oh. Perhaps for testing purposes. Alright, let's for testing purposes say that as soon as you invoke we set trigger to false. So now we can test it multiple times. And then something happens. Oh, this is also still the area. Oh, I hate that the animation scales. Why? Why would you do this to me, Unity? Why? Or Blender, for that matter. It is really weird. So it does not have any scale at all. So if I reset like the positions, then everything resets. But it just doesn't have any scale at all. That is so weird. That is actually really weird. I think I might just have to like restart Unity, but I'm not going to do that. All right, let's add a quick sound effect. So I'm using Fmod for now. So let's just play like a scream, I guess. Or just a huh that she does right now, just as she is fighting. It's just a random sound right now. I think I want like a sort of a stab sound, like not a knife stab, but like a violin kind of stab sound, a high-pitched whir, so that you know that you've walked into trouble. Huh. So because this is not like the right sound. So what happens if you jump? Yeah, so you fall to the floor right now. That might look like a little weird. What I could also say is like, so this area, right? This hazard area. See where we at? It's really high right now. I just only want it to trigger when it's down low. Because, you know, that's the way it works. Might be plausible as well. Alright, so now we have a area trigger which we can do stuff with. So for now it just hides this cube, or the center cube, after 1 second, right? Because that is the timer. I could also say it is a action timer of 0, and now as soon as I walk into it, something happens, because you know you might want to adjust that time. All right, that's pretty dope. So now what we want to have happen, because as you all know, everyone watching, we're reworking the boss. I want to have a like sort of a tentacle or a arm spawn and bam, slam down on the player. Now, before I do that, Do I want to show the other one? No. Because I have been working on this boss already a little bit. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's do it. All right. So we want to create something entirely new because we want to have like two separate systems, right? So I have this hazard trigger area, which just triggers an event and can have like anything happen. So we'll call this slamming arm. I don't know. It's a great name. Oh. And let's make a awesome slamming arm with Pro Builder. We'll just make it really quick. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really... Alright. So the idea is that at some point, of course, this will have to be like a super nicely animated, like a super nice animated tentacle which does like whoosh, which emerges from the water like whoosh, and does like that. But for now, we'll just have it be like a crooked thing like this, which smashes down on top of the player, right? So that's what this thing is. All right, so we have a cube, which is actually a arm. Can't you tell? And so we want to have a slamming arm, which slams down a arm, like so. So what we could do is we could have it slam down towards a target. So we'll make this a target, but that depends on where the pivot point of the arm is. Oh, that is actually over there. That is then pretty okay. This is at 0, 0. Yeah, so that is at the 0 point of the slamming arm. That means that the arm is not in the center. Yeah, so the arm is now at the target. So we could have it like spawn and then bam. Spawn, bam. Or we could just have it appear here and then. So do we want to have this to have like variable height? I think you would actually want that. Why am I making it nice? Don't make it nice. Well, it's nowhere near nice, but making it look more like, I don't know, a tentacle. Slamming arm. So the arm would appear and bam. So this height would have to be adjustable if I want to have it on different heights, I guess. Let's for now, let's have it a set height. I am actually going to put this in the boss folder, which I believe I have. There's already a swiping arm. I'll call this a slamming arm. So what is a slamming arm? We are going to use between because I think that is easiest. So we'll have a game object, which is the actual arm. The arm, I think, yeah, so that will have like an animation and that will everything, but for now it is just a model, and we have a transform, which is a target, which it is going to slam. Then we will have a function, which is, I guess, called slam. And in that function, we'll say we'll actually make this a enumerator. So we'll make a slam arm, which will start a coroutine slam. I still dislike the fact. Well, you can call start a coroutine slam, but I don't necessarily like that. So we'll set the arm, then we'll wait for a second. So we'll wait just a little bit of time, so like half a second, and then we'll slam the arm. So we'll say arm dot transform dot do local move on Y, because we want to end it down, and we want to move it to target dot transform dot position, and we'll do that in half a second. I guess that's pretty fast, and we do want to do that with ease. Back, I guess. What's wrong with this? Oh, it just needs a Y position. Because we'll do a local move Y. So now it actually slams down in half a second. And so if we say, do some debug coding, we'll say slam. No, we actually don't have to do that. No. So it resets. So, well, yeah, it doesn't actually reset. That is okay for now because I just want it to happen once. I just want it to happen once, like for now. Yeah. But that's okay. So we'll actually use our hazard area, which is, I hope, underneath the arm. Yes, it is. We'll have 1 second. Let's move that to half a second. And we'll say, oh wait, slamming arm is not yet in here. So we'll have a arm and a target. Now, it's in here, slamming arm, we'll say slam the arm. Yeah, because I cannot start a coroutine from here, which is sad, but true. Bum. All right. So now the arm has been slammed down, and I think we can do it much, much faster. And I would also like, that is completely wrong. Perhaps we should make the slam time adjustable in the inspector. That would be easier. And I also, just for my enjoyment, say that the hazard area is underneath the actual arm. Yes, let's give it a bit of oomph already. We'll go back to swiping arm here, which, yes. So on completion of this event, or actually animation, what's wrong with incomplete? I want you to generate an impulse. For some reason, when I'm doing like a delegate like this, so for those that don't know, a delegate is like a function as a variable. So you can pass in a function. Let me, I was gonna say, chop, boom. So the out back is actually not, I have the start point, move it away. Let's move back the arms a bit, and as well the spawn point. So actually in this case, so I have this timer here because of the animation, right? Outback's not correct. Is it in back? I feel a really big sneeze coming up. So if I do a really big sneeze, I'm sorry. Oh, it's actually stuck. That's annoying. Ooh. Okay, so one other thing. At the start, what we should do is hide the arm. Yes. Yes. The arm should be hidden. Ha! Oh! Ah! So yeah, of course it still triggers. But it doesn't animate. So, since the spawn point of the arm isn't nearly as good... Huh! So it now waits half a second. That is actually, I think, for this trigger a bit... So like the idea is that I think this should be like 0, which gives you... Ha! Ooh, that's a bit too little time to react. Even for myself. Alright. So it doesn't look like much, right? But it's the idea that counts. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna do? So it slams down, you get to react to it. Doesn't make a noise and it doesn't reset. Oh yeah, I want you, of course, to be hit by it. So, is it hit on impact or hit on collide? I think hit on collision is better in this case. And it does 2 damage. Why not? Huh. Oh, yeah, of course it... Wow, I thought I fixed that. You can actually do this. Oh, this is a collision. No. I need the other. I am wrong. I need hit on impact. And it does 2 damage. And let's remove this collider and let's just give it a box collider, which is just... Can I adjust this, please? Only like the top. So this gives a couple of problems. Let me... Bam! So now it hits me, but so like the first problem is it hits me every time I hit it, and it kills me, which is not something that I want. So I would like to turn... Or does the arm disappear? Does it do like bam and then disappears? I think it actually disappears after it smashes down. I think that might actually be better. So we'll wait another, I guess, a second, and then we sort of animate the arm out. So this way you sort of get the... Let's remove this to get sort of a feel for what it feels like to do an actual run through. So this way you just get like the slam down once, get hit or not, and then the tentacle disappears, and then we could have some other thing happen, perhaps even. Huh! Oh! Yeah, well, of course, there will be a longer animation of the thing going down again. Weirdly enough, I feel like I have too much time right now. And oh, perhaps because it has like a different ease right now? Ooh, so that's really fast. I do kind of like that. Huh. I think just for dramatic effect, in this case, the arm should stay a little bit longer. All right, all right. Let's... I like this. So you just walk in, and something's about to happen. And then you see, of course, like a big arm animating out of the water. Sound effects. Bum. That's gonna be cool. All right. Let me make some prefabs out of this. This is just the code. Enemies. Boss fights. Let's make a folder. Octo. Folder. Prefabs. We'll have a slamming arm prefab. And then right here in the level components. No, I'm afraid it is in the world. No, it's also not really in there. I guess it's in... I'll just put it here. Although these are... No, you know what? We'll make a new folder. Call it... environment. Mental... objects. I'm so bad at naming stuff. Where did we put this one? We'll put this one here, like that. I do actually like the idea of a prefabs folder. I'm not really sure what else would go in here. All right, so now we could delete. Oh wait, no, it's actually pretty nice that it has a timer like that. Let us go into... Do I want to save this one? No, you don't have to. Now let us go back into a real level. All right. So we'll make a empty game object here and call it tentacles. Tentacles. We'll call this tentacle 1, and that exists out of a trigger area and a enemy prefabs slamming arm, and those should both be at 0, 0. Well, they are not, and this thing should be where I want it to be. All right, so we'll move that one up here. So it definitely needs to be bigger, but we can do that, I guess, simply by... So let's first say where it should slam down. I think I can just scale it bigger. That wouldn't be a problem. It can also rotate. But this arm needs to originate from the water. I do want it to be like in view. So So the target should be... Oh. Like right about here. I think, yes, and the hazard area. Should be somewhere around here. I want it a bit bigger than the previous time, and I want, like, whenever you walk through this, this thing happens. So then we'll say that this slamming area does slam the arm. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it feels. We can always add like some dialogue to it afterwards. So you're just walking about, minding your own business, when you like, huh, oh, oh, so it slams up. That is actually really weird. Why would it? Excusez-moi. Why would it? Why? Wait, why would it move up? That's just weird. That's also really weird. Not that it really matters. Why does it move up? Wait, what? Wait, what? So as soon as we hit, where is this target? Let me check it out in the scene. Target, where are you? Why can't I see you? There you are, target. Arm is over there. Target's over there. Alright. Now. We move into here. Why is it moving up? Because this one is now at 23. This one is at 4. That does not make any sense. What are we doing? We are moving to the target transform position, and we're doing a local move. So perhaps we should not do a local move, but we should just move the Y position to the Y position of the target, not locally, but in world space. I think that might be the fix. Let's hope so. Because then indeed scaling might do weird stuff. Huh. Yes. Oh, I actually got hit by it. That is fine. Alright. Let's replay that one more time. One more time. Ba-ba-ba-ba. That was a great song. Huh! Oh no! Wow, it actually slams way down. Where's that trigger area? Oh yeah, that is way off. Let's move that to over here. So whenever you try to exit, oh, I would then love it not to be in this bridge area. So I'm thinking about moving like the arm then to here. This makes more sense, I guess. Let's check it out. In context. Always also test it in context. So you walk up and you're like, huh, oh no, psh, what happens? And then the thing disappears. I actually kind of like that. Let's see if we can make it happen here again. See how that feels. So now we have one tentacle. We can actually duplicate this one. Let's call it 2. Is this a tentacle 2? Yes, this is tentacle 2. And we'll have it not slam the crap out of that. This one, and I would love for it to be on the other side. Which way do I need to rotate the thing? All right, like so. And so now the tentacles, of course, it doesn't really look like a tentacle. It looks a bit weird, but nevertheless, this should work. Oh! I was actually looking at something else. Huh. I actually kind of like that. Ah! So... Oh, I'm dead already. Oh, I also got hit. So what happens if I reset? Oh, then the tentacle is, of course, already triggered. So that is fine. So where else would I like that to happen? I do like the fact that it's twice in a row, because then, like, it could say something. I would also like it to happen if you're... I do think here would be better than having this laser tower. And then I actually think coming off of this whole thing would be best if it was like this. So then something like this. I kind of like that. Target should be good. Then... Oh, it would be really nice if it could hit you like up here again. So this way, like the boss becomes sort of a theme throughout the level, right? So instead of just having a intro cutscene and having some random dialogue with the boss, it now becomes an integral part of the experience, which I really like, right? So at first you're not really sure, I hope at least as a player, hey, what is it that I'm doing here? What's happening? What's going on? But then after a while of playing, you're like, so there's like this giant thing in the water trying to swat me out, and then at the end you actually get to face it. I also really like the idea of it being here. So I wanted to have it be really prominent in this phase of the game, or of the level, and be less prominent here near the end. Also just to fuck with you, right? Just so you... Oh, there goes my monetization. Also like to have it be like, when's this tentacle going to hit me again or not? When's it going to happen? I like that idea of you being like on edge, because I don't think I want it to happen anywhere near here, because the boss fight's like over here. I just want you to be like this entire piece, like, is it going to happen still? And I don't want to mix it in with fights, at least not yet. Let's see if these all work. So for that, we'll unfortunately have to do some mixed screen. Oh, that's really small for you guys. I'm sorry. So we're here. Ah! Schlam. So we're here. Ah! Schlam. There was one here. So I'm like, schlam. And we put one here. No, where did we put the other one? Oh, we put the other one here. Slam. Those were the slammers, right? Tentacle 4. What was that? Oh no, there's one here on top as well. So you're like, oh no. Oh, that one's actually particularly nasty. So, and of course, that has to go with a lot of. Oh, thanks, Ollie. That of course has to go with like a lot of sound effects and splash effects, and it is something coming out of the water, so it's like. But now it of course looks like crap. But I do want to implement the boss like this. Ooh. At first, just to have it like. I'm really curious how other players will react to the fact when they do not know there's like an event like that happening. Oh. Did we put one over here as well? No. Ooh. Yeah. I hope I can design cool tentacle arms and octopus submarine boss. But I really like the much less, I don't know, like the whole intro cutscene and things like that. It just didn't feel right. Oh, this one's nasty because it's weird. This one's particularly nasty because it's crooked, so I might have to fix that. Oh wait, did I pick up the gear? No, I did not pick up the gear. That's dumb, because now I cannot... Luckily, we have developer tools for that. So let's just move myself over here. Huh! Ooh. Hey, there's a parts box over here. Now I might have to change that sign above that parts box. We found a part. That is actually awesome. Ooh. Yes, MRP. Oh, like have some hidden references to like the giant thing, like here down in the bottom, in the depths, have like a thing going on. Oh, that's actually, yes, introduce the monster underwater right at the start. Yes, that, just like the fish, that would actually be pretty cool. Just have like have a tentacle somewhere here. Oh wait, I need to use my mouse. I cannot point at the screen. Well, I can point at the screen, but you guys won't be able to see it, right? Like, have a tentacle here in the back, like, slither away. Oh, that would be so dope. That would be cool. All right, what time is it? Oh, we still have some time. Let me show you what I have been working on for the boss fight so far. So I'm going to call this done for now. For now. Because this was like part 1. Yes. Demo scenes. Boss fight. Octopus. I have here an octopus. So as you can imagine, this building would be like... oh wait, let me open up the Sunken City again. No boss. Well, it's going to be a boss. So this is right... So the idea... Oh, that's so annoying. No. Please, Unity. Just let me... So the idea is now that you make your way over on... onto this building at the end. So you open up the valves and turn on this water pipe, and this platform starts moving, and then you get over here. And I think what I want to do is have like a parts box right here, but then out the back, like right around this area, a giant octopus finally emerges from the water and battles you over the parts box, which I think makes a lot more sense. So that is actually what you are seeing right here, right? So you have like this giant rooftop, which is a normal rooftop, and you have a giant octopus, which peers over the edge and has destroyed like the barriers and the fences and stuff like that. Um, and so I have two sort of phases for him right now. One is the burst bomb launcher. Let's check this out. So what this does, it actually spits out three, and this is like way too difficult right now. It spits out three bombs which explode after a certain amount of time, which do like a circular laser, and this is terrible. But you can mitigate the explosions by destroying them. Oh, but this is actually really tough and really hard. But I really like the idea of like a squid with like a circular mouth just spitting out mines which it sort of gobbled up from the bottom of the ocean or just makes inside of itself. But this would be a no, this would be like a phase 1. Like I said, this is way too hard. Perhaps I do not need like 3 balls at the same time, but like 1. Alright, then I have another phase, which is also an arm, but it is a giant swiping arm, which actually moves from left to right, and it pops up again above your head. So the idea is also that now it animates in and it animates out, and it will always move towards the closest edge to sort of try and hit you. Now, this by itself is not that hard, especially not. And so, actually, before we continue, like this arm would have like the same animations as the other arm, right? So it will pop up out of the water, slam down, and like when this swipes across, it hits you. So these are like his swiping arms. But when you combine the two, it sort of becomes completely impossible. This is actually my favorite. I actually hit the... wait for me. So that is a bug when you... No. See, this is terrible, but this will never happen at the same time. So, but the idea is that during each phase, so let's say we use the swipe arm for the example. During each phase, and that's sort of the idea that I have right now, like these 4 tentacles right here, will be gone, or there will just be, wow, that's terrible gaming. I cannot do this at the same time and talk. So there will be like smaller tentacles which you have to destroy, like perhaps 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and it will pop up in a different location, and when you hit that, it cracks and it pops up in a different location, and then a 3rd time in another location, and then when you've hit those, then sort of the octopus gets stunned, and you can perhaps hit its face, or it will like slam its head down like on the actual area, much like, oh wait, I just want the octopus. Which is the octopus? Oh wait, this is actually the parent. Something like this, right? So it will slam down its head like this, so you can hit it and kill it softly. So, but the idea is that he will have smaller tentacles, which like gripping the platform at different positions. And you have to hit those to sort of stun him and get him to the next phase. So that I think we will do tomorrow. Let's do a little. I saw some questions. K9. It made sense that it not only hints at the boss from the get-go, but it fits the theme of the sunken city, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of the stream as well. I really like the idea of having something in the water and under the water, because especially the first sunken city level really has a connection with water, right? And like I said, I was making the second level, which is more about height and tall buildings and being up in the air and being like floating and gliding. And so actually a flying boss would actually make much more sense in that context than like something like this. Nobody asks if I can show a part of modeling and texturing. Yeah, definitely. Perhaps we'll even make a part of the octopus. You could make the bombs delay after. Yeah, so what I had at first, but I actually changed that, is if you go into the burst bomb launcher, it now launches 3 at the same time, but you can actually, if I put this to like 1, it just launches 1 every 3 seconds. But I was playing around a bit with this. Perhaps 2 is better, or perhaps it changes with the phases, right? So if say it does like shoot these bombs, then do his swipe arm. Perhaps you could start with 1 bomb, do his swipe arm a couple of times, then start with 2 bombs, then do a swipe arm, then do 3 bombs, like something like that, right? Ollie also asks if this is my full-time job. Well, yes, but no, but yes. So I am a full-time game developer, but I'm making Wrenched on my free time. And so I work for a small game studio here in the Netherlands making serious games. Yeah, so I am a game developer, but I'm not officially a programmer, so I'm actually learning how to program as well with Wrenched. Oh, I see that my chat is being cut off. That's a shame. Ooh, K9 asks if I have a particular art style that I'm inspired by. I think there's not really one particular art style that I'm really inspired by. I tend to, when making games myself, stay on like the low poly art style, just because I think, well, I shouldn't say it's easier to create, because low poly art is still really hard to create. But I really like things like Bravely Default. I don't know if you guys know that. Like the characters from that. Let me check that out. Oh, it's not with a Y in front of it. Like those low poly characters, those are like super awesome. I really like those. Like these things. I don't know. I really like the style and the feeling of this. So you might actually see that Carly is sort of also inspired by the Bravely Default characters. Yeah, I really like those. And like the hand-painted, stylized art things. And I said this during my previous stream, actually. I really like browsing game UI database. It has like tons of UIs of all sorts of games. Oh, wait, you guys can't see. I'm not sharing my screen. Wait. Like the Bravely Default characters. I was showing these, and I was showing like the game UI database, which has like tons of UIs of games, and you can just check out games per genre and find things. I love browsing this and getting inspired, like how other games do UI and do stuff like that. I love seeing that. This is a great resource. Really check it out. All right. what were we doing? Let's get back into it. So, while we're at it right now, let's make the um, while I'm here, let's make the burst bomb launcher a bit more versatile. So we'll create a nice header for some settings. Serious, we'll call this a private int number of bombs. Let's just put that as 1. Yeah. Oh wait, do we need anything else? Number of bombs, 0. Oh, we already have a launch timer. Ah! Why are you doing this? All right, yeah. That was actually all I needed, I guess. Ooh. Wait here a second. MRP says there's another website. Dare I check that out? It's called Interfacing Game. I never heard of that. Let's check it out. Let's deviate a bit from the deving. Diablo 4 beta. See the game interface. I got it. Oh, this is sort of the same. Oh, that's really nice. Games. Oh, do they also have... Ooh, they have animated things. Like, that is actually really nice. That is nice. Thanks, MRP. I love that. So that is one of the things that I found lacking on Game UI database is like it doesn't have animated stuff, right? And so in UI, like the animations and how things move, I forgot the term for it. It has like a specific term that is used in the industry. Like that is really important, stuff like this. Oh, this is awesome. Nice. I love that. Like the moving videos. Moving videos. For real. Like moving examples. That's what I want to say. That is actually really cool. But it does look like these are all like bigger games, right? Which games do they have? Do they have like the smaller games as well? Load more games. Although it's not bad to look at like the bigger games, but that's one thing that I pride Game UI database on. They also have like very obscure games. Ah, Florence, that one's amazing. It also has like very obscure. Ooh, this is why I love browsing stuff like this, right? It's like this looks cool. What is it? Oh wait, I've seen this game. But the fact that it's animated, that makes all the difference. That is so nice. I love that. So not everything is animated, but that's fine, I guess. I love that. This is awesome. And I love browsing these things. Just, yeah. Yeah, so K9 asks about the music in game. So there is like sound. I hope you guys can hear that. You should hear some music right now. This is actually more of an ambience track. But there is like full dynamic music in here. Which also switches when you go into combat and go back into exploring. And I did not, well, this ambience track I I mashed up myself. But the other music is by Aki Knapilla, who made a demo for Wrenched, which I could use by his grace, which I thank him for dearly, which is really, really awesome. And yeah, I am thinking about outsourcing the music because, you know, I do make some music myself. I play a little bit of drums. I'm actually learning drums. You can see a drum kit right here, and I have some guitars all around my man cave. So I do make music, and I've made music in the past, but it's not necessarily one of my fortes. So yeah, I do all the sound effects and stuff like that. I do myself because that's sort of different, I think. But music, I'm really planning on having someone else do that music. All right. So if this launcher, number of bombs, 1 every 2 seconds. So now we should see like 1 bomb every 2 seconds. Yeah. So it spawns it now with a random rotation and a random position. I'm still dying. What am I doing? I'm terrible at my own game. So these bombs obviously also are very work in progress, and they need sound and effects and cues and when they are about to explode. Yeah, so like 1, I am thinking perhaps 3 was a bit too much, but like 2. Have a great night, MRP. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chiming in. I always like it when you guys ask questions or give suggestions. I'm just terrible. Let's see if I can destroy 1, perhaps even 2. Oh, why? Oh, yeah. So I need to fix that. Actually, as soon as you die, of course, the boss needs to reset and all the things need to stop. Ooh, that's better. But the idea is, right, that at this point you can keep doing this, but you only advance when you start chopping up like the other tentacles. So you have to be careful about these balls, and then the tentacle pops up somewhere else. You have to chip. Well, you can actually dash through them. Only the first one. So you have to chop this one up, but you have to be like patient, not like me. Chip. And then the tentacle might appear here. You have to chop it up. So I'm thinking about, I do like the visual of having like the tentacles up here, but I do think that it would be best, like gameplay wise, if it didn't have those. But they appeared like all around to destroy them. But I think we might do that tomorrow, because tomorrow I will also be streaming. And I will also be streaming Friday, but perhaps Friday we will be doing something else. Perhaps even play a game. Instead of working on the game, playing a game. Why not? So have something like this, you know, so that it looks like he's, or it is grabbing like the platform. Let's visualize this for a second. So at this point you would have to go like, alright, I'm destroying this tentacle and it has a certain amount of hits, and now I'm destroying this tentacle. But I have to dodge his balls. Playing it like this right now. So the positioning of this is random, but I actually would like it if he could shoot more towards me. That would actually be a lot cooler. Let's see if we can figure that out real quick. That's not going to happen. I close my browser there. I'm actually also using a Stream Deck So I borrowed it from one of my friends. I really like it. Also, I've been using it for all sorts of work-related stuff, just so I have all my shortcuts on here and programs, and I can switch between my headphones and my speakers with a button. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. All right, so we want this thing to rotate towards the player, so we could say transform dot rotation. We have a look at, right? Quaternion, is that a look rotation? Is that what that does? The direction to look in creates a rotation with the specified forward and upward direction. No, that's not what I mean. I mean look at. Which is that? Unity look at. Oh, it's transform that look at. Object point towards. All right. So it's transform dot. Is it just transform? Look at? Or do you just use it? Oh, wait, you just use it like this. Look at. So you should look at player state. Ooh, that one, but the machine. Transform. And what's that? It has a world up. That's just same as above, but setting the world up. So I'm looking at the reference right now. Oh, you could just. Oh, it doesn't have. It doesn't need a. So now it looks at the player. All right. Let's see what that does. I'm really curious because I think I actually rotated this object by accident. That's not good. We'll see. All right, so now it shoots them over there. That shoots them a bit over there. Ah! Now it shoots them over there. Now it sort of shoots them towards me. I guess that's okay. That's not towards me. That is also not towards me, I guess. It's sort of towards me. Do they still have like a random offset? I give them like... Oh, I add a random force though. Oh wait, but that's just forward. So does this... What we could do is have the object launcher... Let's do this in a update instead. Oh. Wah! So now it should do it constantly, so we could check what's going on. I would like to fix this. Yeah, so it actually rotates with me right now. I actually do like the idea of it spitting out multiple bombs, but doing it more like pop, 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 pop. Like instead of at once, because that makes sense, I guess. So we would have a number of bombs would actually always be one. Let's call it in between time, and let's say that is 0.2 seconds, and we'll then we'll do it like this. So for all, we add a burst bomb. It adds a new unity range, and we'll say yield return new wait for seconds in between time. Yes. So now, yeah, but that does get added to like the launch time, which I don't think is a necessary problem. So it's 2 bombs, and in between it has 2 seconds. So it should do pop 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 pop. Ah, so perhaps its whole face should be facing me instead of just the launcher, but so when you now start working on dying, working on like slashing these, it's like they're a bit closer to you, so you can actually have an advantage moving towards the other side. Perhaps even slash 1 or 2. And perhaps now, like I'm thinking about this right now, perhaps this area is now a bit too large. So this area could be smaller, and I think it should be smaller. Like feeling this, because now I don't see half of the area, and this is like a large zoomed out area, right? And I don't see half of the game. So I think we should make this smaller, like much smaller. I can actually just for now experiment with this a bit, make it like a regular sized. Of course it also becomes like easier to get to the tentacles and stuff like that. But it is more, it's easier to see what's going on, right? So it becomes a bit more urgent. And so when it has like frantic music, and perhaps now it could even be like the camera could even be a bit closer again, because I put the camera way away. Might be even better. No way, no, don't kill me. It might even be better to have it a little bit down. 30. So we can play around with the camera settings on this to make it look. I do think I have made the area a bit too small right now. Although that's also one thing that I found a bit annoying about CRT. Like perhaps the boss fight was a bit too long, a bit too epic, right? So it can be simpler and it can be easier, but it has to be cooler, right? If you guys understand. So this is a bug that if Carly is not reset correctly yet, then she gets hit. So if you get hit while you're spawning before your health resets, then you die again. So you slash up like these tentacles, they also move out of the way, they disappear. Then he gets stunned, then you can slash his face, like his health bar goes down, and then another phase starts. I kind of like that. I do think I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. And with that, let's check out one more time what we made today. So we have like a new hazard area trigger, which slams down. Huh. I still don't know why the animation scales, and I freaking hate it. Huh. Oh, I actually dodged it. That was pretty good. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun way to introduce the boss, or at least something hunting you. And I could have like a dialogue at the end of it, like after the second time that he tries to hit you. I could have like a small dialogue pop up saying, I don't know, something like, "What are you? You don't belong here, you peasant." Ooh, that one actually hit me. I wasn't fast enough. Gotta be fast. Yeah, I like it. I think it adds some life. It adds some life to the game. Oof. Well, it of course also completely depends on how the tentacles look, animate and feel, so I'll definitely spend some time thinking about how I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to start with that, because that is also something... That is also one of the things I did wrong with CRT. I started to polish it way too soon. So I'm not saying don't at the early stages of development polish things in your game, because polishing things is fun, and if you want to make a cool demo to have people test, well, it needs to look presentable. I actually cannot like release a demo which has like the tentacles looking like that slamming down, well, perhaps to like the nuggets in the Discord, but not like to the public to test, or to like a publisher. But on CRT I went way too detailed, way too soon, so I sort of had a final design before I even, you know, was really sure about what I was going to make. And at the time, again, it was fine, and it helped me release a demo and test things, so I'm not sad about like removing him from the game or reworking him or getting new ideas, because it was great at the time. But he did always rub me the wrong way. And so what I was saying is that I do want to keep the tentacles in a state where they look like this, just for a while, just like to feel how the game plays, feel how it affects things, feel if I like this. And in tomorrow's stream we'll work more on the boss, work more on putting him actually, perhaps like giving him phases, giving him those tentacles that you have to hit, so making it like an actual boss fight. Yes, let's do that. So again, a great night of work. Nuggets, thank you all for your help. I will be calling it a night for now. I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully no falling pictures scaring the crap out of me. That was a nice one. Hopefully my voice will be a little bit better, but I think after talking this much tonight, I highly doubt it, but we'll see what happens. So tomorrow night we'll work more on the boss, trying to make it a actual boss with phases, making a state machine for the boss as well, to switch those phases. Yeah, overall, doing some work on the boss. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for giving your suggestions, for being here, for watching me. Again, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. And I hope to see you there. Thank you all, and have a great night.